Alright, so we've just finished
I can't see anything. Oh, okay.
Okay, we've just finished our freshman year, and we are heading back to San Jose, or Fremont rather, because that's where they live. But there were a lot of memories this year, and we're just gonna recap a couple of them for you.
Alright, let's go.
Hey, there you go, that's Sam.
Well, the first day, all we did was move in. And see, the story behind moving in was this. We were all going to get there at the same time. We were all going to pick our beds just randomly. I mean, pick numbers out of a hat or something. So we all get an even share of, the beds and
Like a draft?
closets. You get a little draft, so everybody gets a fair amount. But
Is it gonna be that dark?
what
You can't even see your
Mital
face
thought
in that one.
was that, how about let me go ahead of Raj and Smear, and then I'll put my stuff on a bed, and I'll get a good bed. So what he did is he went one day earlier, and he put his stuff on. And you know what Roger thought? He thought the same thing. He said, let me go one day earlier and put my stuff on. So when they both got to UCLA, they saw each other, and they're like, wow, we're smart people. So they put all their stuff, and then I came in, and I got the leftover stuff.
Now, one thing about moving in was we got to meet all the people on our floor. So, we met our neighbors, which are really cool people. Kristen, she's a little messy, a little loud, but, she's good. If she's not having some problem with some boy, which is kind of rare, because she was always going out with someone or other. And Sarah, she was like the sweetest girl, and yeah, she's really nice. And she had a pet rat. She called him Bubby. His actual name was Charlie. And she was a little too attached to it. Hopefully, he'll still be with us for a long time, because I don't want to see what happens to her if he's not. And then there were other girls on our floor. Ping, Doris. Doris is crazy. She's ping fa fong la, and yeah, I don't know what to say about her. She's just really odd. And then there's Susan and Carrie. They were really nice people. And there are a couple of strange people on our floor, like Michelle, really strange one. And then there's Julie and Jamie. I think they like twins. I still never figured out who was who. But I think it was Jamie. She was really obnoxious, I think. And then there's Brent. He talked a lot. Hopefully they don't see this tape.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so for the whole first month or so of school, all we did really was hang out together, us three. We didn't really hang out with anyone else. We didn't really socialize with our floor much. And all these people we met later on. In the beginning, it was just us three. And then one day, maybe during the first week of school, we all realized that we were hanging out way too much together. So what we must do is we must split up. So what we ended up doing is we said, okay, all day we're going to split up and we're not going to see each other. But then what ended up happening is that Raj and I ended up spending the whole day together. Because randomly we had to both maybe go to Ackerman to buy our books, so we both met there. And we both had to go eat lunch, so we both somehow, we just happened to eat at the same place. And so Mital, when he found out that we spent all day together, was really frustrated, and he thought that we were trying to leave him out of some sort of special, special things that come into play later on in the year when we get into this character named Amish, and special things relate to him. So we'll get into that later. And now I'll get back to Mital, hopefully remembers what he had to say.
Okay. Well, part of this year was, not only did we get to spend a lot more time with each other, because I'm in Florida, of course, and these guys live up in the Bay, but we got to spend time with people who went to college down here, like Rahul and Naman. And one particular occasion that tends to stick out is our car ride up to Berkeley. This was a crazy car ride, but it was very adventurous. On the way up, everything was good. People were sleeping. I slept. Sam slept the whole way, because he slept in the back the whole time. But, I drove for a little while. We made it up to Fremont in one piece. And then we went to the Berkeley show, which was good. Give us props. And I think we'll be better next year, but we'll see, because Raj is a culture chair and it's at Royce. But first year at Royce. So we'll see that. And then, okay, so we're at Berkeley, and okay, let me tell you guys something. I'm not a very good storyteller, so it might not be too amusing, but let me say that what do you want me to do?
Look at yourself.
Alright, that's not my fault. There's light behind me. Okay. Is that how it's gonna turn out?
Yeah, you can't really see your face.
All right. Well, that's fine. That adds mystery to it.
We're
But-
recording, so okay.
Okay. All right. So the Berkeley
We're
show was
live.
good, but I'm not a good storyteller. Okay. So we're coming down from Berkeley. No one's driving, and we decide to stop at Gilroy. Bobbish lives in Gilroy. We didn't see him, but we stopped by at a fruit stand, and we purchased some fruits, among which were some grapes, and the store is known as the Grape Date. So what happened was we were in the car and we were driving back, and Rahul said, "Hey guys, check something out." Well, actually we had some bad fruit, some peaches. So we were like, these are bad, and we threw them out the window. Get them far. But Rahul, he gets this idea. He's like, check this out. I took a grape and he threw it out, and it went forward, and then it slingshotted back. So it's like, guys. And then he did it when a car was there, and he missed the car, obviously. And so eventually we all started trying, and we all kept missing. So Norman, he's like, "Hey, give me a grape." So I gave him about 4, so he had 4 chances. But he misunderstood this, and he put all of them out at one time. Well, needless to say, he was accurate, and he nailed the car. So then the car comes by us, gives us the thing, and then they pull up in front of us, and we're like, all right. And this was a 2-lane highway, so we're just driving behind them because they were in the fast lane. You don't want to go slow lane if you're trying to get to LA because it'll take you forever. But then we're trying to hit our own windshield, and we're throwing grapes out the window, and I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he thought we were throwing them at him. I don't know. And then we see his girlfriend bend over in front of him, next to him, and pick up a cell phone, and then they both look back, and then they dial. So we're like, we don't want them calling the Popo, the 5-0, the black and white. So we're like, all right, let's back off, guys. So we backed off, changed lanes, and they exited. So we're like, okay, we're fine. Oh, we were not fine, because once we pass the overpass, they get back on, and we're like, guys, they're coming back on. So then we're in the slow lane, and then they come in the slow lane, and then we go in the fast lane, they come in the fast lane, and then we took an exit, they took an exit, we got back on the freeway, they got back on the freeway, and then we're like, okay. So then we're like, okay, the next exit, we'll take a left. So we got on the next exit, we took a left, and that was going to like Vegas or something. It was 2-lane highway, one going one way, one going the other, all the way down. So like, guys, we can't just keep going. So we pulled over. We thought they might pull over, but they didn't pull over. So we're like, all right. So Nelman, the driver, he swung it and gunned it at like 110. And when we approached the freeway, we thought, hey, we'll see, we lost them now. They're like a mile back because they didn't turn around until later. So now we're like a mile in front of them, and then we went north instead of south because we're clever people. We go to UCLA, and we went north, and then we stopped at a rest stop, and they probably went south, and that's how we lost them. But then the whole trip back, we were paranoid, and we also threw out the grapes when we got to that rest stop because evidence, of course. We didn't want to get caught with evidence. So that's the Grape Date, and we made it back in one piece. Okay, Simon.
Okay, well, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about our friend. We really have two groups of friends. One was our floor friends, which Mitt told you a little bit about, like Sarah, Ping, Susan, Carey, all them, Roland, which we haven't really got into. Another group is our Indian friends, you could say. And in the Indian friends, the people we're closest to is the guys. It's pretty obvious to say it's the guys. And for each guy, I'm sure we could give you like 500 stories each. Well, so I guess I'm gonna have to start off with Nimish. He's the one with the most stories, I'm thinking. Nimish is a funny guy. He is scared of everything and anything. He thinks he dies all the time. Like one time, one of our friends, Amol, he threw like a can of Coke or something at Nimish's head while they were walking by some construction, and Nimish thought the construction almost fell on his head, and he said, "Oh my God, guys, we almost died." So Nimish, he does that a lot. But yeah, he's gonna be one of the kids we're living with next year, Nimish, and the other one is his brother Amish. But one of the funniest things that happened to Nimish this year was the story that happened while he was turning in his homework in math class. See, one day it was raining pretty hard outside at UCLA, and Nimish, he didn't want to come to class. He just wanted to turn in his homework. So he was gonna go at 11 o'clock to turn in his homework. But he forgot that class goes from 10 to 10:50. So when he got into the classroom, he was a little bit late and he saw the professor walking out. So now the lecture hall that he was going into was this lecture hall called Dodd. And Dodd lecture hall, when you go from the back of the lecture to the front, there are no stairs. It's just like a ramp. So Nimish, you have to remember, it was really raining, and Nimish has an umbrella in one hand and his homework in the other. So Nimish, when he's walking down, he sees his professor walking out the door, and he starts running down the ramp. But then he starts to feel the friction between his foot and the ramp starts to go. And then he starts sliding, and then throws up his arms like this, and he goes, whoa, 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 and he throws up his umbrella, and he falls on his butt. And everybody's faces just go quiet, and all the girls are like, and everybody's silent, and they don't know what to do, and then one guy hands Nimish his umbrella, and Nimish just runs out of the class. And that's Nimish's story.
Talking about expressions on faces, Nimish's brother is also known for an expression. It goes something like that, where his eyes get real wide and his mouth opens up. But Nimish and Amish, they will be our roommates next year, and Amish is quite a character too. A couple stories behind him. He's shy, he doesn't come out. Almo, one of our other friends, likes to call him Boo Radley or something like that from some book. And this guy's like being locked up in his room by his parents, and he says Nimish locks him up, doesn't call him out or whatever. But are you getting my face?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can't see my reflection, that's why. So we're trying to get him out more, but yeah, this guy surprisingly, out of Jay and Nimish, the only guy to go to prom, which if you knew the guy, it'd be kind of shocking. And he went with Luann, and he went with Luann 2 years, or two dances, as far as I know. But that's, yeah. And so Amish, this guy's really innocent, okay? Like, he doesn't know a lot of basic stuff, and it's good, I guess. But he's known also as the AP King. And this was his identity on AOL. AOL played a big role in our college experience. It kept us busy when we had nothing better to do. And we had these things called warning wars, and usually it was us versus him until I retired and Sam got off AOL. But what we did was you warn each other, and each warning gets 35%. If you can get a max of 35% if you have 5 lines. There's all these little rules that I'm not going to get into, but Amish was the king of these rules.
Amish, he remembers how he met each and every person that he met at UCLA. It's ridiculous, his memory. And he remembers, he knows that he met me 5th week. And he also remembers that he met Mit in 2nd week during their chemistry discussion. And the reason he remembers this is that while they were in this discussion, Mital was trying to make some jokes while everybody, during one discussion in chemistry, everybody was trying to crack these jokes about all sorts of things, and the TA was cracking jokes, and everybody was cracking jokes. So Mital, he tries to crack some jokes. He tells the chem TA, he's like, why don't you just look on the periodic table? And nobody understood his jokes because they weren't funny. And everyone just kind of looked around, and they're like... And from that day forward, Amish always remembers Mit's identity. Now we must move on to Jay. Jay he pretty much became our 4th roommate by the end of the year. Because he was always studying with us and eating with us, and he's pretty much our 4th roommate. And Jay, he always does this thing, when he disapproves of something, he calls it a whack. And the way he shows you that you're whack is like this. Whack, whack. He goes he gets really into it. Jay, you have to see Jay get into it. And Jay, he's a funny guy.
I don't know what he meant by that, but let me get something straight before we go into Jay. I wasn't trying to be funny that day in chem discussion. I was just trying to tell the guy that you can check how many valence electrons are in an electron shell by looking at the periodic table, which is true, and Raj will confirm because he is the chemie. Well, as of now, he is. We'll see at the end of our 4 years. But, yeah, I was just telling him. I was like, you can also check by looking at the periodic table. And he looked at me like I didn't know what I was talking about, so I gave out a little chuckle. No, I'm serious, just look at the periodic table. And Amish must have misunderstood this and took it as a joke. But it wasn't a joke, I was being dead serious. Let me just get that straight.
It's funny. That's one funny guy, that Amo. He tells... Let's see, what can we say about Amo? What stories do we have with Amol? Well, Amol, he thinks he can play basketball. And I'm going to have to break it to him that he can't. I mean, he tries, and we call him the glide, and we try to encourage him, and we do everything. But as of now, he just doesn't cut it. Like, Raj just tried to work with him on his shot and his form, and we all try to improve, and I mean, it's too bad. He just can't do it. But the other thing about Amol was that we had a lot of fun with Amol at the San Diego boat dance. That was one fun weekend when we went up with, it was us three and Amita and Puja, and we all kind of to San Diego, and it was a lot of fun because we stayed at Cujo's place, and the boat dance was fun because we met a lot of people we knew and stuff. The funniest part of the boat dance was in the beginning of the dance. Like as soon as the boat got started, there was this couple, they were dancing. As soon as the boat started, they both fell on top of each other. And they both were so embarrassed that they just had to like walk away from each other. And all their friends were consoling them and stuff. But our next Indian boy friend that we should talk about, I think, is gonna be Vishal. This guy's from Boston. It's Vishal, and he really loves his Red Sox and Pedro Martinez. And he wears this 10-year-old Boston Red Sox cap. And he finally bought a new one, but he can't wear it because it's too big or it's too small or something. But anyways, one day he bet with Jay, and he lost the bet. So for a day he had to wear a Yankees cap, which is like, if you know anything about Boston and New York rivalries, that's ridiculous for him. But yeah, so we all got this picture of him wearing this Yankees cap, and it's pretty funny. And let's see, other stories about Vishal. I think Mick can tell you some stories.
Next, we can talk about Ronak. Rock was a funny guy. He giggled a lot, but he was good competition for best dress this year. I do concede to him because I think he's a better dresser. And Ronk is a cool guy. He broke his wrist as the year finished playing basketball. True baller, that Ronk. He plays well. And he has yellow shorts and yellow hair. He's in our Gerba, and he had this yellow hair, and we danced and stuff. And then, like, the day of his culture show, his parents were gonna come see him, and he didn't want them to see the yellow hair because he was scared, so he colored it back to black. And it was kind of funny because we were all like cracking on him about it.
Funny. But yeah, that Ronk's a good guy. Ronk, Jay, Amol, and this other guy, Gaurav, they're all living together next year. And so I'm sure we're gonna be in that room a lot. Because, I don't know, we like those guys a lot. The next guy I guess we're going to talk about... Oh, we have to talk about Puja. Like, Mother Pooch, she she made our year possible. Because Puja, she gave us rides everywhere, she took care of us. Like, without Pooch, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We'd be lost little freshman boys. We'd have nowhere, we wouldn't know anyone. It'd be just a completely different year without Puja. And she took us to, she took us to Diwali banquet. She took us to the party that never happened, that we waited outside for 2 hours for. She took us to San Diego for the boat dance. And when Mital hurt his ankle one time, Puja called to make sure that he was okay. And yeah, it was really cool having Puja. And then through Puja, we met her roommate, Amish, and her roommates Amish and Radhika, and like all these other people. So yeah, Puja was cool. And now I guess I'm gonna toss it to Mit.
Cujo was quite the funny one. She took us sliding a lot, and she did take care of us, I have to admit. But one thing about Pooch was she threw this party once, and it was in her apartment. And I told her, like, don't you have to get this approved or anything? She's like, no, people do it all the time. I'm like, all right, fine. So she throws this party, and like everyone's coming, and she even calls her brother Naman from Riverside to come see it. So he drives like about an hour to get there. But the thing is, when we all get there, the party's already broken up, and it's like 10:30. The party didn't even happen, and like we give her a hard time about it. But yeah, that was funny about Pooch. Vishal, I want to say this one thing. I'm sad right now. I don't know if you'll remember this when we see this tape, but the thing is, Katie Holmes is probably married right about now. She got engaged as of recently, and she's married now, dude, to this one Chris Klein guy. Kind of disappointed about that. But we had some good conversations on AOL, so yeah, it's been nice seeing your name always on there when I was studying. Shawfest as the end of the year, and in the beginning it was El Duque LA, which you had to change, I think, because of the Yankees affiliation. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. And then, okay, so let's see who else was there. Yeah, Pooja's mother, Pooj. We wanted to give her a Mother's Day present, but that never really happened because we didn't get around to it. Let's see, Deepesh. Deepesh, we didn't get to really know him until the end of the year when he was in our Garba, but he was a good guy as well. We did a lot of fun things together. One thing was our trip to Irvine. His brother Pritesh was like the man at Irvine, and Deepesh is gonna be the man at LA. I can see in a couple years. And we all went down there to see the Irvine show, and we went with Deepesh. It was really cool. The club had too few people, like too few room for all the people that went, so we had to go to Pritesh's place, and everyone went to Pritesh's place because, like I said, Pritesh was the man. And then Pritesh kicked everyone out, so we all went out. And then Pritesh's roommate said, "You guys can come back in because you're Deepesh's roommate, you're Deepesh's friends." So we went back in, and then we got kicked out again. So we went back out, and then we just crashed at Rahul's place the rest of the night. And then Deepesh, we spent his birthday. He came out to our birthdays when we went to different places. So, yeah. All right, so we're gonna take a little break now, and then we'll start again somewhere else on our trip. Okay, when we see Raj, maybe. If we see Raj. Okay. Bye.
Okay. This is a short correction to the program. See, when we were talking about Jay, I had an awkward pause and I sent it over to Mitt because I was trying to think about how to phrase this, and I think I've come up with a proper phrasing for this. I think sometimes when Jay gets into a certain state of mind, he gets these beer goggles, and so that's all I really wanted to say. But I mean, Jay, I like that guy. I love that guy. Jay, come on, Jay's a solid guy. So that's the addition, and we'll see you later on in the show.